Hello everyone, welcome to 7/10 minutes with ARKHILITE C. ARKHILITE C stands for ARKHILITE Commune, and we are very happy to have Terence Chua with us today. Terence is from MOKKOMOKKO, and he is also a founder of separate, a few other brands and companies. I'm not sure whether we have got the time to dwell on the other companies later, but but Terence is a very kind and nice folk, so you definitely be able to share a lot of interesting stuff with us today. At ARKHILITE C, we like to explore brands, people. We call it slow, but it's not exactly like perpetually slow, but it's more of a mindset that you want to spend the time and the effort to pursue your dreams, your passion, to be good at certain craft. And of course, during our journey with many of our guests and friends whom we've invited to 7/10 minutes with ARKHILITE C, we've discovered a lot of things that will be useful for everyone who is listening in. So thanks again, Terence. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Really be happy to be on this new format of sharing with you, Vincent.
Thank you. Terence, this is like semi-casual, semi-official, and therefore the vibes is as such. We wanted to go deep into certain things, but at the same time, feel free to crack jokes, and certainly there are not that many restrictions that we have for you. First and foremost, I would like to understand your brand MOKKOMOKKO. Am I right to pronounce it that way? Even MOKKOMOKKO.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I'd love to hear your I'd love to hear a pronunciation of that later. But what does MOKKOMOKKO mean? And also the brand story behind it.
All right. Actually, when we first started this vehicle, I would like to call this a vehicle, because when we were still in architecture school, so myself and two other partners from NUS Architecture School, we have been dabbling with design competitions and also little crafts here and there.
Which year was that? Sorry, which year was that?
Actually, we started in about year 2.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been joining like external competitions, some overseas, some in Singapore. Yeah, and we were fortunate to actually meet a friend who is in the timber industry. So he was doing timber trading and then a bit of carpentry. So back then, he was still mainly doing pretty much supply kind of business strategy. So he thought that, hey, why not we start looking into some products like furniture and items that can be sold in a retail setting. So me and my other partners, we thought like, hey, why not? We're always up to do new things. So slowly we started in around year 3, and that caught on. So it was still pretty much a side hustle kind of thing, and then.
Yeah, of course, because your main thinking would be to at least to pass in school, but you're doing all right. You're doing all right.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Okay.
Yeah, and
because we have got seniors who like so much into other things that they just that year is like and they retake another year.
Yeah.
You've got seniors.
Fortunately, we're thankful that we didn't have to retake. Yeah.
That was from my time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay. Yeah. Sorry.
So we started doing small things, and then mainly for friends or family, and then it started to get a bit more serious when my wife and I, after we started working, we needed to get our own house. So we were also looking for furniture and fitting out our house. Then we thought that, hey, why not just like do it ourselves, right? And
that's about 1 to 2 years after graduation. Is that 1 to 2 years after graduation?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
you took the master's program as well?
Yeah, we took the master's program.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that time I was already in RSP Architects. Doing architectural design work. And then that's when we, my other friends, we thought that, hey, we should bring this to another milestone. So we thought that we should really put in more thoughts and make it a bit more proper.
So by the time they're like free of your, I mean, it has always been free.
Yeah, three
right?
until later on the later stage. Then we have another 2 partners.
Sure. You were saying. Okay.
Yeah. So that's when we started MOKKOMOKKO. So MOKKOMOKKO, Mokko in Japanese is woodworking.
Working.
And so we really
What do you want to repeat it?
Yeah, we really like
I know you shared with me, but please.
process, of making things. So yes, the final product is always nice to see the final product, but we enjoy the process. So MOKKOMOKKO is a repeat of woodworking.
Absolutely.
So it's like a tongue-in-cheek kind of term to say that we're always on it, always working. It's iterative. And that's what we really like about our furniture studio.
The process as well. Of course, the final product, but the process that leads up to.
Sometimes making a weird product, and then you fail to reach the customers, and then the thing is not that great. But we really like that because and then we can really hear their honest feedback, and then we try to improve, and then our final product is much better.
It has been, you were saying, about 4 to 5 years since MOKKOMOKKO started. Yes. And right now, of course, you've got much more, many more collaborators and partners at the same time. But before we go on further, very much like you to show us and the rest of our folks, the imagery as well as some of the products. We call them highlights, but you feel free to share whether they are, you think in your opinion, they are the better selling ones, and something which your heart belongs to, to something like that. Or I'm not sure whether you're prepared for some of those experimental pieces as well.
Sure. I would like to just share a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. So part of our design process is we like to take reference from nature. So we like natural materials. We like the grains and expressions of wood, marble, and even landscape. This is a picture of a snow-capped mountain in Iceland that really touched our hearts, because
Absolutely.
it's so vast. When you're there, you don't see any edges. But
when you were there, you meaning you took the photo?
Yeah. So the textures and the atmosphere just engulfs you. Right, and
absolutely,
and when we are dealing with such atmosphere or nature, so it just brings us to think that how can we design for such a atmosphere and still be relevant. So it's something that we are still thinking about, and it's also what we really like as part of our design principle, to design something that is more atmospheric but minimal and simple. So when we first started furniture design, of course we studied the masters like Hans, Wigner, and some of the Japanese carpenters. So because chair is a chair, you have fixed dimensions, you have fixed ergonomics. How do you make it special? How do you make it relevant in today's design setting? So what we want is not to design a feature piece such that it becomes very iconic. Of course, that has its own merits, but we want something that is a bit more quiet, and something that doesn't fight with the spaces that it might become part of. So something that can complement and something that can be part of the space or part of the void that we can put these furniture pieces into. So when we first designed...
Terence, are you able to show a full screen of this?
Oh, yes.
Of the presentation?
Yeah. So this is a side view of one of our more popular chairs. It's the Roan chair. So we started with just...
How do you spell Roan?
R-O-A-N.
R-O-A-N. Got it.
So it's the name of a plateau,
in
a famous plateau in the world. Yeah. So we really want to just keep to the basic structural elements of a chair. So the vertical supports, the horizontal supports, and the backrest. And at the same time, we we want to make sure that it's so reductive that it doesn't have any excess lines that is not required. But of course, this kind of purity will come at the cost, of ergonomics and all this. And hence, of course, we know that some people don't mind, so which we are very happy. But at the same time, we are also mindful of ergonomics, which is why we also have another chair.
Is this one?
Fuji. Yeah, the Fuji chair. So this one is more based on diagonal lines, simple curves. And this is very comfortable because you have slight curves that really hugs the back and
the back.
Yeah, and the entire
and the butt.
Yes. Yeah. So in designing furniture, another challenge that we have is how do you design soft elements and soft edges? Because when you're designing a sofa or a couch, the dimensions change when you sit on it, right? So we have to take into account like how does this piece look and feel when it's not used, and then how does it look and feel again when it's used by our users.
Oh, this is interesting.
So we have to really have a good sense of how much the material will compress.
When you say, Terence, when you say use, do you mean in situ, as in immediately during the time of usage, or do you mean like after a period of time?
Both.
Okay.
So at the time of usage, when you sit on the couch, easily depends on the density of the foam. It will compress at least 50 mm or more. So, but at the same time, sofa is a very amazing thing because the type of foam you use will immediately let the user know how good this piece is. So usually for a sofa, you need a few layers of foam. It's very similar to your expensive mattresses. So you have the top layer, which is slightly softer. So when you sit on it, you really feel like you're sinking into the sofa. But the bottom layers will be
for the support.
Yeah, for the support. So higher density foam that can last longer and also can keep the structure of the sofa.
This looks beautiful.
Thank you so much. So when we are designing this, we often start with the main concept, the main shapes, and then we try to reduce as much as possible to keep it pure so that it doesn't clutter the spaces that we put them into. And we are very wary about in fact, we would like to imagine how to work with designers or consumers.
Before you go that, Terence, let me throw you a curveball. Not sure whether you find this tough to answer, but I think it's something that's really interesting. But you might already know, of course, because at the beginning, one of your, or rather, you were saying that the greatest inspiration. At least that was when you first started off with the slides, would be something that is majestic, and it's something which I've noticed. But I just want to hear your thoughts regarding that. Then maybe I just throw in my 2 cents of opinion as well. But with the majestic landscape, and landscape is got to do with randomness. It's got to do with the fact that it's being majestic. It's got to do with the scale.
Yeah.
And coupled with the spirit of being random and so on. That means not ordered, but and also to a very much extent, I think the third characteristic of that is the excessiveness. It's like so much, and then you can't even determine where's where and so on, and therefore giving the engulfing experience, I suppose, part of the reason why we felt that way. But on the other hand, when you're crafting out your work for the series for MOKKOMOKKO, we'll talk about that later, because the things that you have done, I do know that they are being designed by yourself, your team, and also fabricated over here. So we'll talk about that later. But how's the mind shift? The shifting from the inspired by something that is gigantic, massive, out of control even. To something that you were saying, the next thing you were saying, that I want to reduce the number of excessiveness. So how do you reconcile the two ideas?
Yes, I think you're very sharp in that sense. it's honestly, it has been I will dare say it has been a struggle and also exciting journey in this explorative design process. We started when we first started. Of course, we wanted to create something more of a feature piece, and which is why we also have one coffee table called the Altai coffee table. So I do not have the image right now, but that is really trying to explore the undulating surfaces of a mountain, and we even use different pieces of walnut and teak to kind of introduce contrast and more grains into the entire piece. But when we finish that, yes, it's gorgeous and it's very interesting. But we thought that when we put it into a space, we kind of feel that it doesn't bring out the atmosphere of the space, and it doesn't bring out the true potential of the space, because it is a feature piece that shouts for attention. And that's when we try to rethink as architects, we're from architectural training, how do we design something that is relevant to the space? So when we rethink back to our experiences in nature, the whole engulfing feeling comes from being in that space, and it's not an object that we can view from a God's eye view. And hence we try to reverse the entire ideology of designing something so simple that it's quiet but it's there, and then you get to experience the designed interior space or architecture in its full potential.
Thanks a lot for sharing that. I think this is not even an excellent answer. I think this is as authentic as it gets, because I think I've heard you mentioning this, but I think that's the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because I think it's so important for your companies, for MOKKOMOKKO's philosophy. The fact that complexity doesn't mean that you will look nice, and the fact that you wanted to have a contrast, and therefore it's very much like a piece of say Tado Ando's work amongst the scenery. So if you do something that's as complex as the scenery, then it plus blends into it, but that's another effect, I would say. But if you have something that's really simple to the just boiled out to of course the proportion must be nice, the scale must be nice, so on and so forth, to be functional, but the relationship between nature and then to examine the relationship between what is engulfing what, and so on and so forth, what's complementing what. I think that's a strength of man-made design. I mean, there's really no way that we can compare with nature. If you want something that's really complex, you buy a piece of plant, so much complexity and life within it, But what can designers do? What can architects do? Or what can designers do?
Nature, right?
Absolutely, you can't really do it. But what we can do is to play that out. It's almost a little bit like if you want to bring out the sweetness of something, you pair with something that's like more sour. So something like that,
exactly.
so that it brings out both. This is excellent. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries. I think this is something that is very obvious to people. Just wanted to share the story behind that as well, Okay. Is there another slide or something that you want to?
Yeah. So.
That's a new series.
Yeah. So recently we did a new photo shoot for our new series with our collaborator Daryl Tan from Nemesis Studio. So when we are doing this new collection, which is completely in black, it's very challenging because it suddenly makes all the forms and the lines a lot more obvious. And if it's bad, it becomes very bad. If it's very minimal, it becomes more pronounced. So we had a challenge because we want to do a shoot that brings out our principle and also something that is more atmospheric. So we did this photo shoot with just 2 background props. So which is a gray plywood board that we move around.
Okay.
So
that was a Photoshop. It was really a real ply,
it's a real.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So we want to create a very simple setting.
Excellent photography.
That can evoke a sense of minimal atmosphere that is not too empty. So that's the big challenge. How do you create a setting that is made out of very simple elements and yet is not too uncomfortably empty? And we were quite happy with the results. Having our
so much thoughts into it.
Having just very simple thoughts and simple props, and also very minimal design. So this one, if you can see, the curve is made out of the is it called the diorama, the backdrop of the studio, the curved wall, and then and again is the gray plywood board.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
This again, so it's a bit more graphical and.
I love the coffee table.
And empty, yeah.
It's like there's some sort of staggering.
Yeah. And this collection is really part of our to really because we know that now recently the trend is going back into the black and white kind of aesthetic and styles. So we have a lot of feedback from our customers and designers that, hey, we like your pieces, but can we have it in monochrome? Can you have it in something more cool colors? And hence we have this new collection.
Is it teak that you're using for the wood part?
Yes, it's still teak. So it's a teak wood that we stain it in black, but we are very careful to still make sure that the wood is still open pore, so you can still see the remnants of the grains and the textures, so it doesn't look too plastic. Which will beat the purpose of having timber furniture.
Of course, Terence, I think we can do it later, but since we are at it's not like obviously relevant, but I do know your as in your companies or even your interest in using teak as a preferred wood for many of your furniture. Would you like to share with us your thoughts regarding that?
Oh, okay. Firstly, we like to, when we first started this, of course, we had a privilege of working with a timber trader. And then, of course, his main supply is solid wood. So it's not just teak, so we also have other sources from all over the place, like American walnut and American oak. The reason why we want to use teak is, and we're also quite careful, because when we are using natural wood, right, it becomes very difficult to find a sustainable source. And sometimes when you see a source that has FSC or green label, yes, they might be more sustainable, but downstream you might not know how they get the papers even. So it requires a bit of trust, and it requires a bit of experience to see which source is not smuggled and that kind of thing. And the main reason why we like teak wood, because it's closer to the tropics. It's a material that doesn't expand or contract too much. When you're in a hot weather or when you turn on the aircon, it's very stable. It doesn't warp so easily, and it's also naturally anti-termite because of the high resin content within the wood. As compared to oak and walnut. But of course, oak, due to the current trends, is very popular. We still think that teak is the ideal choice of durable and
to be used in the tropics in Singapore.
Yeah, exactly. And another beauty of teak wood is it's structurally very sound, but the grains are soft. So when you're working with it with your tools, with your hand, you can really feel that there's a lot of workability with the material. But oak and walnut is a lot harder. So sometimes you get chips and you get cracks here and there.
As in the finishers, the end product may not be as lovely
Yes.
as
Right.
if you
So
copy
that's
from.
the beauty of Teak. Yeah.
Got it. I think at this point I would like to go back to one of the topics that we were talking very much about just now, the design part. I think you and your team wanted very much to. I mean, as a train and so for so many years, like similarly for me, like so many years in architecture, and then the part of wanting to design never quite leave, right? So of course I mean I do understand that part of wanting to design, but how about the fabrication part? I mean, of course I mean from the onset, one of your partners already has got this affinity with with wood, but is he in the fabrication industry as well?
Yes, many years ago he used to be a carpenter himself.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're quite fortunate. Yeah.
Awesome.
And
but to do it here, there's so much. It's not limitation, but a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, material. I mean, you've selected wood, so that part, something that's confident, at least in the local industries, something that's confident in terms of workability, and as well as the being responsible in terms of the sourcing. But but to fabricate furniture here, is it even commercially viable? Maybe that's
it's very challenging, to be honest, because actually furniture industry is not something that I will dive into if I have even made enough economic study before I go into, because firstly it involves a lot of bulky material, timber, which you need a lot of space, to stockpile, warehouse, and logistics is a nightmare. You need protection, and then you need lorries, and manpower in Singapore very expensive. To even look for skilled craftsmen, even harder. So we are fortunate to get to know the remaining perhaps 4 or 5 skilled craftsmen in Singapore. That really, they're all in their 50s, 60s, and they are really the pioneers of Singapore carpentry.
Okay.
And
so you are 800 them now.
Yeah, we have to. And so we started off outsourcing to this talented individuals, and then gradually we started to also build our in-house capability to manufacture in-house. So
to get in as consultant, right?
So they are part of our TOSO. So the master craftsmen in the factory that will teach the new batch of carpenters.
That's the way. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, you don't want to let it like that for certain things to be lost.
Yes.
It's got to be like.
There's a lot of challenges or cost pressures also, because in Singapore we have no lack of cheaper imports from all over the world, and we were also tempted many times to outsource our production overseas. Either in Indonesia, which is very popular, and also in China. That's what our competition does. But we do see the benefits of having our own production in-house, because firstly we can control the design, and then we can have a faster lead time and to react in a more nimble way, and I think
to trends, to market conditions,
to trends and market conditions. And also because we are a small setup, we are quite a boutique setup. Most of our pieces are made to order, and also many times they are customized to the designer's design language, and also dimensions that the customers needs. So we can't mass produce them, and there's no need to mass produce them. Yeah.
So for example, like a set that you have on the screen, if I make an order now, like how long would the lead time be?
Yeah, our lead time is a standard 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I think
that's all right. That's all right.
That's quite all right. Yeah. So usually the 4 weeks includes finalizing of the design and dimensions, and then choosing of the materials. So we'll always, give a final image or drawing to the customer or the designer.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then before we start the fabrication.
So each piece can actually has got you can almost like follow the story from the birth. I mean, right, the birth of each piece, the process of that, and therefore, I think the brand, the repetition of the process. I think that really resonates with the with the real.
Yes. I mean, it's tiring for sure. There's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a really long hours work, but we enjoy it. And to just put into perspective, this is an adaptation of one of our models. This is the Hayes table with the Fuji chair and the Elbrus bench. So this is done in collaboration with one of our friendly designers, because he wanted the whole house to take on this circular forms and arches. So this entire language is then carried forward into our furniture as well. So we change and customize our chairs and tables to take on a very large radius. So it's almost like 150 radius, very large for a chair. But it turned out to be amazing. I mean, it really fits very well in the whole scheme of the design. And I think part of the client's requirement is for the furniture to be safe, because they have a young daughter, and then she runs around in the house.
Absolutely.
We have all the rounded edges. And so we really enjoy this process of working with the designers with their inputs, and also the specific requirements of each customer. Yeah.
Sure. No, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
Is that the last slide?
Yes, that's the last slide. Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind to off screen? There are two other things that I would very much like to ask you before we call it a day. Yeah. Actually, we can go on and on. There's really so much interest in the business, and as well as in terms of direction and the philosophy that you very much have. I also understand that the part of balancing out the economics of things, and therefore being able to sustain, but there is seemingly like a fire, in the belly kind of scenario that makes you want to, and the team to persevere. What is, like, is there an ultimate? Of course, you're enjoying the process, but not sure whether there's a aim that you have set out to be like I'm not sure whether is it in terms of numbers, because sometimes numbers can make sense. Like, I mean, it's not about vanity. It's not even sometimes even about money. But if you have a certain target, it means that more people are able to enjoy it. Yeah. And if more people are able to enjoy it, that's part of the. It may be part of the thing that you're looking out for. So what is that? Is there like a quota or something to work towards too?
Yeah, we don't have a specific sales quota or a specific number milestone per se, but we have a specific vision that we're trying to work towards too. Furniture is a very difficult industry in Singapore, so we are constantly trying to see how can we add value in this realm. So we try to not see ourselves as a product or a brand that designs products. So we hope to design furniture as a form of micro space even. Like architects, they really design buildings as a space for different programs, like for commercial use or residential use, and interior designers, they design on a smaller and more intimate scale, so spaces that are, again, for different users. So when we come down to furniture, it's very convenient to think of it as objects or products. So we would like to view it as a form of a micro space, and it's increasingly more relevant today. When you have the COVID and all this, like how do you work from home? Do you need a study table? Yes, but what is this study table? It's not just a surface, but how can it become a kind of a micro space that aids you in your processes of our office, and then how we can become a micro space, for dining. So when we think of it as a micro space, then we start to be more sensitive to the needs of the processors, of the user. Yeah. So that's the vision that we try to achieve. Of course, it's a bit abstract, and it's also a bit it will be quite difficult to.
Don't worry about it. I can understand you. You've got a fan here.
That's really something that we try to work towards too. And also part of our main what we wish to do is to be able to collaborate. We really love to collaborate with designers or even with like-minded customers to think of new ideas, new ways of doing furniture even. So
Awesome.
yeah, so that's what we enjoy doing. And
can I add to it that it's probably not just MOKKOMOKKO, but on a personal level, because we were chatting up Terence, that you have got this love for furniture, and very much there are so many things that we have to take a certain direction, sometimes whether we like it or not, then at other times it's because you genuinely will like it. So I do not know, but from how I do know you as a friend, and to hear you to really speak about this right now, I think from the onset you already have got this liking for furniture, and then at the same time you want to see how that can be expressed in a different manner, how that can be used, how that can be shared, and how that can be manipulated in a certain way, so that the liking and as well as the overall sense of furniture can play, I wouldn't even say like an important role, but almost to that point that itself it can be considered as a set. It reminds me of many times when that's quite usual thing to do, like whenever we go buy certain things, I'll be reminded of my parents. Then we buy a set. We buy a set. So it comes as a set. Then you just take photo of a set. But of course, how does a set? How does a thing they talk to each other, so and so forth. During this period of time when I have got more time at home, on my bed. Then on my bed, I'll be looking at my chair. Then I'll be thinking, okay, whether the chair looks good or it doesn't look so good. Because every time you just walk past it, before when everyone is in a rush. So now there's a slight slowing down, and you begin to look at things, especially the things at home. So I think all the stories that you have shared, as well as the thoughts behind it, they're really super interesting. And thank you really for persevering on this, because I think that like what I said, we wanted very much to discover how people, especially younger designers, very much like yourself, and a retailer, is willing to go against the buck to surface with ideas, philosophies, and products that can bring us to another level. If Terence, if I'm not wrong, are we awarded or named some sort of design city or something like that? That was some years back.
Yeah. I think so.
You think so, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite funny.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm reminded of that. But we will get there. I think you shared the same mindset as me. That it's good to have that, but it's like we are not there yet.
Yeah, definitely not there yet.
But we will get there.
I hope.
Please.
We are on the way in the process.
Awesome. Now, Terence, where can we find you? Where can we find you, and where can we find MOKKOMOKKO?
Okay, we are located at Lavender Street. So we have a MOKKOMOKKO lounge in collaboration with Verdi Light. So our new location is at Lavender.
That's awesome.
We have a second location, which is our workshop, and that is at Geylang Bahru. So there you can really see, our company.
You invited people to your workshop as well?
Yes. In fact, if you want to do customization, we welcome designers and customers to come and look at the materials, look at
that's so awesome. That's so
tools and all this.
That's great. Thank you, Terence, for joining us, folks. So if you like MOKKOMOKKO's work in the same level and intensity, which we clearly do, if you do enjoy stories and you want to be a part of part of this Singapore design city story, we are getting there definitely. So please join us, and please take a look at Terence products. Mokko's products, as well as there are some other brands that we didn't have the time to go into today. Terence, maybe we have a part 2 another time, So thank you, folks. Thank you for being with us today.